What's going on, guys? What I'm hoping to accomplish with this video is to bring attention to this underrated gem of a game, and why I find it to be great speedrunning material. First, with a little bit of background. Sledstorm is a snowmobile racing game that came out for PS1 on July 31st, 1999 by Electronic Arts. The game features 5 modes of play: Open Mountain Championship, Super Snowcross, Quick Race, Time Trial, and Split Screen Multiplayer. For this video, I'm going to be focusing primarily on the Open Mountain Championship mode, for I find it to be the most dynamic category of the game. For this category, the timer starts when you select yes to the question ready to race. Time stops when the in-game time stops on the last track of the championship. In this mode, you will be racing against 4 CPU racers on alpine terrain courses in a traditional 3-lap fashion. From winning races, you are given cash to purchase upgrades for your sled. You must finish first to progress to the next course. The championship is split into 5 series. The first series are taking place in the daytime and feature the courses Pine Valley, Kodak Canyon, Hardpack, and Eagle Ridge. These are all around easy and fun courses to get you used to the game's controls. And trust me, it takes some getting used to. The second series are the Foggies, where you will revisit the same courses but in a dense fog. Next is New Country, where you'll be introduced to the courses Glacial Grind and Goat's Bluff. These take place in the day like the first series, both semi-difficult courses with very interesting terrain and track design to keep you constantly on edge. Next is the After Hours series, where you'll be racing from Pine Valley up to Goat's Bluff at nighttime. Purchasing better lights for your sled is highly recommended the first time through, for the default lights that come with your sled are pretty bad. Bringing us to the last series, the finishing. Here we must complete the last tracks of the championship: Perilous Pass and Lost Peak. Both very difficult tracks with sharp drop-offs at almost every turn and plenty of huge jumps for massive airtime. After winning the finishing series, congratulations, you have completed the championship. You will be rewarded $30,000, but you will not be able to spend any of it due to the series being over. Something you do come away with is the Storm Sled, which is a slim sled with the highest performance stats in the game, making it perfect for speedrunning the quick race modes and going for individual track records. Now that you have an understanding of how the championship works, we can get into why I find this game to be so much fun. The physics and gameplay. Compared to other racing games at the time, example Mario Kart 64, the terrain on the courses are primarily flat and don't affect your vehicle's positioning. The courses have a set surface that the game wants you to stay on, usually being pavement, dirt, or sand. Leaving these set paths is not really an option, for the enemy of all speedrunners is patiently waiting on the sidelines. Grass. Grass will decrease every aspect of your kart's performance: speed, acceleration, handling, traction. Basically, grass equals bad. With this, the movement can feel very repetitive, making it all about hugging your turns as snug as possible without touching the grass. Okay, before everyone starts throwing blue shells at me, I love Mario Kart 64, still have a 64 just for it. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I just don't find it to be very interesting to speedrun. Plus, it's the easiest to compare to because, who hasn't played Mario Kart? Anyways, back on topic. In Sledstorm, every slope, bump, hill, and jump are going to affect your sled in different ways, and quite realistically for a PlayStation 1 game of the time. Staying on a set path is nearly impossible with the multitude of slippery slopes pushing you one way and the other. If you don't believe me, try a couple laps in time trial mode with your ghost turned on. You'll see what I mean. Controlling your center of gravity is a constant battle. Each turn you make, you need to be aware of what angle the slope is facing. You want to go with the flow as much as possible, for going against the opposing slope will throw off your stability. Correctly landing off of jumps is crucial to maintaining that always needed forward momentum. You can make slight adjustments to your sled's positioning in midair with a D-pad to assure that you get those buttery smooth landings. As many times as I've played through each course, I still find ways to improve my time. May it be by just slowing down before a jump so that I land on the backside of another slope, or slowing down and doing a turn a little tighter than before. The discovery for new movement optimization is what keeps me hooked to this game. It's called Open Mountain for a reason. You're not restricted to one set path. You can experiment. Is it better to go off this jump on the left or right side? Where should I approach to get the perfect angle for that turn? Should I slow down for this area? Ooh, maybe you should. That's why I love Sledstorm. No matter how many runs I do, somewhere, somehow, my movement can always be improved. Quick pro tip, when coming down from a jump and the back of your sled looks like it's going to clip the top of another jump, you can counter the impact with a well-timed lean backwards by holding down on the D-pad. If you thought navigating through the courses was easy enough, then performing tricks while racing will be your next skill to build. Sledstorm has 17 tricks you can perform by holding either or both L2 and R2. 3 animated zeros will appear on screen. Then input the desired trick you would like to do using the D-pad. For example, to do a can-can, hold L2, then press left, then right. Link in the description on how to perform each trick. You can configure your button layout to your liking if needed. I play with the tricks on R1 and R2 and my lanes on L1 and L2. I feel it gives me a better control over my tricks by having them on one side, but that's just me. Tricks range from 100 to 1,500 points. Some tricks can be comboed together to reach higher scores. If you were to repeat a trick, you will only be given a quarter of the points. The trick's full value is restored after performing 2 other tricks or if you crash. At the end of each race, your points are transferred to cash by simply dropping a 0 from your total score. Points aren't required to pass on to the next race, but you will need the cash to buy upgrades. The high-scoring tricks like Backflip, One-Handed Superman, and Decade will take longer to execute and can't be done off any old jump. You're going to need some big air, or if you time it just right, you can perform them off bumps throughout the course. I call these minis. Minis are everywhere to be done, but as I said, they are difficult to time. Also, there are a couple buffer frames after performing a trick, locking your ability to turn your sled. Be aware of this while performing them around tight turns. While we are still on the topic of collecting points, there are multiple different breakable objects scattered throughout the courses. Signs, barricades, igloos, and even snowmen. But all these items are irrelevant to the run and should be avoided if possible, for they have very low point values and large hitboxes that could throw off your line. The only thing you need to worry about hitting is this little guy, the bunny. The only RNG you'll have to deal with in this game. He only has a 50% chance of showing up on each course, but he's always in the same location when he does appear. Hitting this little rascal will give you a whopping 7,500 points. Why is this bounty so high? I'm guessing he has a very dark past.
Jesus Christ!
Okay, maybe not that dark. The bunny may respawn in 1 minute and 42 seconds or 2 minutes and 42 seconds. I don't know why yet. Could be the way you hit him or the place in which you hit him. Could be the weather. I'm still trying to figure that one out, but all you need to know is you need to hit this guy. With the cash you earn, you can purchase a wide selection of upgrades to improve the performance of your sled. Except you. I'll save you guys a little cash and frustration. Don't buy this, it's a downgrade. These upgrades are crucial to execute certain skips throughout the run, which I will be addressing later. Like many racing games, the character you select has set character properties, allowing you to rely heavily on muscle memory. Not with Sledstorm, at least in this mode of play. You will be having to make constant adjustments throughout the run, determine on which upgrade you have obtained. You might be able to clear a jump that you weren't able to before with the extra speed with the triple pipes, or maybe you can make a turn sharper with the stability gained from the razor skis. This opens up tons of new routing options and creates infinite amounts of playthrough. Another interesting aspect to upgrades is determining the order in which to buy them throughout the series. Go straight for speed and hope you don't crash, or go the safe strat and improve your stability and handling. It all comes down to your playstyle. So a year ago I decided to start speedrunning Sledstorm. I searched online to see if I could find any major skips in the game other than the typical shortcuts. I was pretty disappointed with the results. Just some videos on how to get out of bounds in some areas, none of any use for speedrunning. So I took it upon myself to search for some. I mean, there's gotta be at least one somewhere. And boy was I in for a surprise. Many surprises. They were everywhere. The developers over at EA didn't take the time to create a checkpoint addition system like most racing games at the time. Instead, if you were to pass one specific checkpoint and turn around, crash on one side of a spawn area, and have your sled pass into the spawn area in front of the finish line, you were able to complete a lap with only 2 checkpoints. But be careful, do not pass over the starting line, for the checkpoint that you have obtained at the start will reset and the skip will not work. The skips for Eagle Ridge and Glacial Grind require you to perform the glitch called wall riding. Wall riding is when your sled clips in between two vertical planes at just the right angle and speed. Once stuck between these planes, the game only will let you go in one direction, and that is up, allowing you to climb on the top of sky barriers and skip huge portions of the course. Wall riding cannot be done with any old sled though. You will need to buy upgrades for your sled to have enough acceleration and stability to achieve them. Each skip is unique in its own way, requires its own specific setups and ways to execute. For the majority of them, they are pretty easy to pull off, but you can always improve the speed in which you execute them. And there are the difficult ones. These have very little room for error and can lose massive amounts of time if failed, but with anything, practice makes perfect. To see all the biggest skips in the game, check out my skip tutorial in the description. I found the skips for Kodak Canyon, Hardpack, Eagle Ridge, Glacial Grind, Goat's Bluff, Perilous Passes Loop and Castle Skip, and Lost Peak. Shout out to CA for finding the Pine Valley Skip and Perilous Passes Log Skip. With the discovery of all these skips, I've been able to complete the championship in almost half the time than the full playthrough. And this run is far from perfect. Sub 30 is just around the corner, but it's going to take a crazy amount of consistency to pull off. Nearing the end here, so quick recap on the main points. The physics creates interesting and challenging movement. The tricks add an extra level of precision and difficulty to the movement. The upgrades require you to adjust your movement multiple times throughout the run, and the skips creates a high risk and reward system. If you made it this far, thank you. I'm guessing you have some interest in the game. If you'd like to play Sledstorm, you can pick it up on eBay for around $9. You can play it on PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, and also on PC, PlayStation 1 emulators. I am one of the moderators for the game on Speedrun.com, so if you have any issues or questions about the game, please message me in Discord at Garrett. I would love to help you out with it. Again, I'm making this video to just spread the word for the game, so share with all your speedrun friends if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Competition is very sparse for the game right now, and I'm hoping this video would change that. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see more sleds on the slopes in the near future. Peace, guys.